So Liverpool have just played their first match of the pre-season and first match back since sadly Diogo Jota passed away. Very emotional day. Started off with the rendition of You Never Walk Alone, and seeing the players line up, you could tell it was on their minds, in their thoughts. But a 3-1 win is the least we could have expected. Now, of course, we're always told pre-season is about getting your fitness up, but as fans, we still want the team to win and win well. Let's have a talk about the players in the first half. Ngumoha, the youngest player on the pitch, but his dribbling is fantastic. He's got such quick feet. He's very driven. He's very determined and knows where he wants to go with his dribbling. And unlike a lot of other players who have great quick feet and great dribbling, he doesn't fall in love with his ability to take on players and pass them. He's really just looking to pass one defender really, and then lay the ball off into the box for someone to have a crack at goal, or if he finds himself in a position to have a crack at goal himself. And he did that very well. He's got this low center of gravity despite not actually being that small. And he's able to twist and turn and drop the shoulder and get past a defender. He's a defender's nightmare. He did just massively overhit one cross, but aside from that, everything was very tidy. I don't think he lost the ball off a dribble once. He did trip over his feet on one little dribble somewhere beyond, just above the halfway line. That ruined a bit of an attack. But 3, 4, 5 times from that left flank, he would twist and turn the fullback, who's probably having nightmares about him tonight, and get into the box where he could then try and find a player to lay it off to or shoot. And of course, he created chaos, which led to Bradley's goal by doing just that, laying the ball off. Chiesa gets it, rounds a defender, cuts it back, and Bradley's able to tap it in. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Ngoma's persistence attacking that fullback. I would love to see him get 5 to 10 matches this season minimum and see if he can kick on. Very, very, very exciting talent. I'd also like to see him run on to through balls more and not always get the ball to feet and then run with the ball. I'd like to see what his raw pace is like getting onto a through ball, and then if he can take it in his stride and then use his dribbling magic to maybe take on a last defender and be through on goal. Nyoni, he's only 18, he's another youngster. He's so composed and cool and calm on the ball. He's like a baby Gravenberch. There's one moment where one of our defenders passed it to his feet with an opposition player raining down on him. And instead of trying to hold him off or panicking and passing the ball away, he just flicked the ball to his right, turned the player and charged away. It reminded me of something that Gini would do back in the day, Gini Wijnaldum. But Gravenberch does that. He's like a baby Gravenberch. Stevenson, 21-year-old, played in defence as a central defender. He's not a central defender. He's too short, too little. He's not strong enough in the tackle. It's not his position. I felt really bad for him. He was definitely exposed in that centre-back position. And you could tell he didn't like being there because he was drifting out to the right all the time. I don't know whether Slot was asking him to do that, but it left Gomez all alone in the centre on his own, where Gravenberch had to drop back a bit just to give Gomez some protection. There was one time where Stevenson even bombed down the right wing. What? That was madness. Chiesa played as the number 9. I don't know whether that Slot really trying him out as a potential solution for the 9 spot if we don't bring in a new number 9, with Darwin Nunez looking like he's on his way out, or if it's just because he wanted to give him a half to build up his fitness, and you had Ngumoha on the left and Salah on the right, so where else are you going to fit him? And he did all right. There was one time where he accelerated away from the defender on a through ball, and he's actually ahead of him and in on goal, but the defender caught up with him. So he had great acceleration, but not enough sprint pace to stay ahead of the defender. Defender got the ball back off him, and unfortunately it didn't lead to anything. But of course, Chiesa was instrumental in the Bradley goal. The question though is, why didn't he ever pop a goal himself? It was on his favoured left foot. He was only a yard away from goal. A proper striker, a proper number 9, would shoot in that situation. And Salah, I don't know whether it was the occasion, whether it was the still mourning and grieving for Diogo Jota that got to him, but he was invisible that half. He barely did anything. He had no impact. So my overall takes on that first half: Salah was missing. Gomez looked assured in centre-back. On the right back and left back, Bradley and Tsimikas full of energy. They did really well. And Ngumoha's dribbling was very fun to watch, and actually he seemed to have a good success rate with that and laid the ball off and actually created opportunities. Alright, in the second half we had a completely different 11. Every player was swapped out. Both Robbo and Kerkez came in, which meant Robbo had to play centre back. And Frimpong, he is fast. He is so fast. We knew that already. That is so useful for recovery and defence, because we do play a high line and you need players who can rush back when there's a threat, when there's a counter-attack to stop it. And Frimpong did that a few times. He got back and able to steal the ball off her, and we're safe again. Going forward, he did make runs, but they were providing opportunities that weren't really there, rather than seeing an opening and exploiting it. And so that awareness maybe needs to be worked on, because when he did that, he left a gaping hole in that right back. Thankfully, he's fast enough to rush back. You can't rely on that all the time, especially not against the best attacks in the Premier League. And I don't want him to get exposed doing that. So he's going to have to pick his moments. And in that second half, Robbo, as a centre back, isn't convincing. But Robbo doesn't have a physical presence, but he also doesn't have the situational awareness for a centre back. His awareness is there a threat down that left hand side? Do I need a rush back, snuff it out? His awareness isn't how do I position myself expertly to neutralise any threats, which Van Dijk is perfect at. Van Dijk rarely has to react and recover because he's always positioning himself so great. Robbo doesn't have that, and so there were times when he had to scamper back and make last-ditch tackles, and he did that very well against limited opposition. He did, unfortunately, put the young goalie Woodman in a little bit of bother a couple of times with very short back passes whilst the Preston attacker is rushing forward. And that goes back to that centre-back awareness. Kerkez, who took his left-back slot, was an absolute workhorse. He was up and down. He was racing back to neutralise threats. He was racing forward to provide attacking opportunities. What he did differently than Robbo and Tsimikas do when they bomb forward is he cut inside a few times. And that's interesting, whether that's just a natural tendency of his or Slot saying, do that because I'd like you in the box a bit more because you can actually finish. Darwin Nunez. We all love the guy. We all want the best for him. We all wished him well in his time here at Liverpool and hoped that he would score the kind of numbers of goals that we planned for him when we first bought. Didn't work out, and so there's a lot of regret there. My first thoughts were he's mentally checked out. He's not pressing, he's not harrying, he's not desperate to impress Slot, the fans, his teammates like he always used to be. And yet he scored a goal of absolute composure. The old Darwin Nunez, when he was fed through on that through ball, would have panicked and he would have maybe just hit the ball instantly, either at the goalie or missed the goal entirely, or he would have raced forward but then lost control of the ball because he's trying too much of a burst of pace. Here, Darwin Nunez got the ball, saw the on-rushing goalie, just shifted it to his right, created an angle, walked past the goalie really, and slotted it into the back of the net. And the question is, has he taken pressure off his own shoulders because he's mentally resigned to leaving Liverpool? Has he already decided, I'm going, I have no future at Liverpool, I don't need to feel stressed if I have a bad game? And did that allow him to remain calm and composed and finish in that way? There was also a moment later on where Doak snatched the ball for the defender, fed it into Darwin Nunez, and instead of rushing and snatching at the ball and trying to just smash it into the back of the net, he had the awareness and the presence of mind to know that Gakpo was behind him, dummy it, and let it roll through for Gakpo, who was in a much better position. So overall, Darwin Nunez really impressed me. He was so calm and controlled, so like a different person, but with the same ability that we know he has in his raw talent. Curtis Jones was predictably Curtis Jones, very, very tidy, very press resistant, nice passes. He had one shot, had a lot of power to it, but it was just straight at the goalie. But his technique is always good. On to Ben Doak. Ben Doak, I love the way he swivels, turns, and then bursts forward. And that beat the right back several times. He got past him several times. One that should have led to a penalty where he was pulled back in the box after reaching the byline. A second time where his final pass let himself down. It was a bit of a poor attempt. There wasn't much power, it wasn't driven, it wasn't directed at any Liverpool player particularly. But he made amends for it when he saw the opportunity to nick the ball off the right back, drive in and feed it to Darwin Nunez, who, as we mentioned, had a presence of mind to leave it for Gakpo. But he created that goal out of nothing. And so you can see why people are excited about Ben Doak. Unfortunately, it looks like he might be leaving us. This was a shop window for him. A lot of clubs will be very interested. Gakpo took his goal well. Nice, calm, mature finish. We're used to that from him. Feels like he played a bit more on the inside forward than the left wing role. Is he leaving space for Kerkez to bomb down the outside more? But then I mentioned how Kerkez did like to cut inside too, and they might get in each other's way. Final thoughts. It's just a pre-season, it's just a friendly. It's really just about getting your fitness up. Even though us fans would love to see a win, we got the win 3-1, and fittingly for Diogo Jota, the players celebrated with his celebrations as a tribute. The fans sang his name in the 20th minute. That was such a touching tribute that went on for several minutes. It was beautiful. And what more could you ask for on our first game back? And my highlight of the whole game was not any of the goals. It was the Preston player going mad at the linesman, shouting, "Lino, F off." That was very funny for me. One of you will win this free Salah card. All you have to do is comment Egyptian King on any video that I drop in July, and on August the 1st in a video I will pick one winner randomly. Full details in the description. Good luck. Alright, thank you for watching. I have something very important to ask you. Please subscribe to the channel, please like this video, please leave a comment. This really helps the channel grow. Without you doing that, the channel will not go anywhere. And so I really appreciate your support. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye.